Hi everyone, Steve Brown from Swansea Creatives. Down here at the BNI group, the Burton chapter at the Tower. And this morning I've been grateful because Stuart have been able to grab him, and I want to just talk to Stuart about what he does. He represents Datacom. So exactly what is it your business does?
Datacom are a business telecom specialist, and what we look to do is provide a service to any sort of business client that give them a level of service that would normally only be expected sort of for your high tier sort of larger clients.
Yeah.
Give them a professional service, look after their telecom needs, the expansion of the business, the growth, give them a sort of overall account management, and we look after them from a billing point of view, from service level, from data, from telecom systems.
Right, can I stop you there now, right? Because, so what do you mean by telecom, by data? Because I know there's more to the business.
Yes,
so what do you mean by it?
So basically, the way we look at it as a company, if a business has one telephone line and internet, anybody could look after them. Right. And it's an easily managed account.
Right.
Where we fit into the market is if a customer has more than one line, they have multiple people in an office, how do they effectively manage their telecoms?
Right.
Their calls coming in, how are they getting answered? Do they promote the business?
Right.
So a lot of what we do for them is give them a sort of auto attendant service where it might say welcome to your business,
right.
Press 1 for sales, 2 for accounts. And in the past, their phones may just be ringing out. If nobody's able to answer them, then it could be lost revenue. So we use it as a sort of marketing tool for their business and just how they manage their calls more effectively.
Right. So what about, so you mentioned then, so a one-man band with a single line, etc.
Yeah.
So what sort of companies do you deal with? What sort of size?
Yeah, to give you an idea, like our sort of main, sort of 80% of probably our target audience is businesses from sort of 2-3 employees up to maybe 20 employees.
Right.
That's probably our core business that we look after.
Right.
But to give you an idea, we have clients to the scale of probably a couple of our largest clients are Arriva Wales, who sort of travel line Cymru, and they probably take in excess of up to 1 million calls a year.
Right.
So all train information, bus times for all of Wales, and we manage their call centres in Cardiff, North Wales, have them linked between sites. And what that enables to do is if their lines go down or anything like that, is how we manage them. So, and that's very much what we do.
So how does it work then? I mean, because the bit I can understand about telecoms is it's a telephone line. It's coming in from a green box somewhere into my building. So what's making you stand out from other companies that can do the same thing?
So anybody can look after your line, but then it's equipment that we connect onto the back of it. So we go into businesses and it's just to say effectively manage them better. They might be quite a small company, maybe 3-4 people in an office, and they have one telephone line. But then we discover that they maybe have a broadband line. They possibly have a fax line, and faxes are almost becoming redundant. So we give people the facility to utilise these lines. So at the moment they're making all their outgoing and incoming calls on their main phone line. So the phone's quite often engaged. What do? We put in a small system or a small piece of equipment that enables them to make outgoing calls on the broadband line, on the fax line, keeping their advertised number free for incoming calls. So it's beneficial then they're getting extra revenue or increased business because the phone line's not engaged. And it's just how they're managing those calls more effectively.
All right. So like, you know, when people do that, like you and I have had a conversation before about broadband. You know, I'm frustrated with my broadband. So what's happening in the broadband? What do you actually do on the broadband side of things?
So at Datacom, where we differ from sort of your larger organisations, BT for example, Top, we have dedicated technical support in South Wales. We have a technical support centre in Bridgend. We don't outsource any of our work. Average response time, we're probably looking at 10-15 seconds to answer a technical inquiry. And the people that you're speaking to are the people you're through to the technical support team right away. You're not passed from pillar to post.
I know what you mean,
and it's a personal service, and people like that because the problem's getting dealt with right away. And as you say, poor broadband service. We had a company come to us a year ago that were getting poor broadband service speeds in mid Wales. And off the back of that, we started supplying satellite broadband. Same way in which your TV comes down your satellite, we provide the broadband signal. So it's not restricted to how far you are away from the exchange. People were getting 1 meg broadband, and we're now giving them 16 meg broadband. So a massive uplift
And a massive difference to the business.
And a massive, and the way the efficiency of the business works. Right. Companies that are uploading or downloading files and sending lots of emails on the internet, they've got really poor broadband, then the efficiency, it slows the business down.
So you keep mentioning where, so what areas do you cover?
Predominantly, we're based in Bridgend, called Pencoed. We moved to a new head office there about 5 months ago. Right. But predominantly, we look after anywhere sort of south to mid Wales. Right. We go over the border into Bristol, Cheltenham, Gloucester, areas like that as well. Yeah. But predominantly, sort of M4 corridor, and this year we've just opened an office in Aberystwyth. Right. Purely because of the sort of geographical location of Aberystwyth.
Trying to get their travel time.
Yeah, it's 2.5 hours from basically Cardiff. There's no great sort of links to Aberystwyth, and people in that sort of mid Wales area felt that they weren't getting the service that sort of people in South Wales were getting. Yeah. So from the back of that, from what people's feedback, we've now set up an office in Aberystwyth. We've got an account manager based in Aberystwyth, Welsh-speaking account manager. We've got an engineer based there. So people having problems are not waiting days for issues to get resolved. We've got somebody that can be there the same day.
Right. So basically then, if I could sum that up, you're a local company.
Yes.
Yeah. Provide local service, in Wales. Yeah. Covering, businesses, anything from a couple of employees up to, as you said, I mean, we've got bigger companies on board, but 20, 30 people in a business. Okay, so if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yes, they can contact us at our website. It's Datacom, Datakom.co.uk, or on our office at 01656 33 44 55.
Thank you very much. This has been C. Brown from Swansea Creatives, talking to Stuart this morning, and we'll see you all in the next video.
Thank you very much.